Hi, my name's Emilie Cortes. I paid them to do that, thank you. And I travel around the country and I talk about peak performance, which is basically the lessons I've learned from the mountains that have transformed me as a person and a professional. But the most pivotal climb was Mount Sill's Swiss Arret in California. I had just come off a mountain biking accident, much more dangerous than climbing, I'll have you know, where I'd broken my collarbone and they had to put a pin together to hold it together as I was recovering. While I was recovering, my buddy Jeff told me that he was saving the Palisades Traverse as my birthday present. 5 14ers all in a row on an impossibly knife-edged ridge. Who could say no to that? So fortunately, my buddy Jeff was willing to lead all of the pitches. I'd been following 5 9s in the gym. I hadn't carried a pack since before my accident, but figured even if the pack's really heavy, I just have to go a little bit slower. Well, my pack ended up being a cool 61 pounds, the heaviest of my life, but I couldn't complain because Jeff's was 72 pounds and actually broke our hanging scale. So we suffered quite a bit on our approach hike. It's about 8 miles, going up 3,000 feet to 11,000 feet. It took us about 8 hours, and it was not easy. But we got to our new home at Sam Mac Meadow at 11,000 feet and spent the night. And it's difficult to describe the anticipation the night before really committing climb, but you try to do your best to get everything together, to get a good night's sleep. But we couldn't sleep through the howling wind because 50-mile-per-hour winds were forecast for the next day. But we woke up at 2 a.m., we got started hiking, and even as the sun had risen and we're hiking up the left flank of the Palisades Glacier here, we were still shivering as we were hiking in the shade with those winds howling. And some other climber shouted to us as we went by, "You don't know how bad it is up there." But we had to keep going and see the conditions for ourselves. So we got to 13,000 feet, where the climbing began to get serious, and we got started and decided we could always turn back if the conditions weren't good. However, it's a 5-pitch climb, that's 5 rope lengths, and it's moderate climbing, but it's pretty strenuous at that altitude, and with those wind gusts, it made for very chilly belays. So on the 4th pitch, we're getting pretty high, and now we're past the point of no return. There's the crux move, the crux being the hardest part that you have to get through. I still had that pin in my shoulder holding things together, and I was supposed to get it out the next week. And I did a move like this in a crack, and I leaned back on it, and the pin actually blew through my shoulder. So I dropped, and this is how high I was, dropped onto the rope, completely stunned, in pain, and realizing I still had to get through the crux section. Adrenaline is an amazing thing because I cannot tell you how I got through it, but I got up to Jeff, and I said, "Jeff, we have a situation. I've blown the pin out of my shoulder. We need to get down as fast as we can and get me to a hospital, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to look at it. I just want to try to tune it out." Jeff just became eerily calm and said, "Okay," and got to work, because it's pretty intense to be this high and this far from help. You have to have a good partner and be able to deal with emergency situations on your own. So we started coming down around the side of Mount Sill and decided, obviously, to abandon the full Palisades Traverse. But it was difficult. We needed to find the fastest way down, and we had no beta about that route. Beta is climber speak for information. So we did find a section that we could rappel. This is looking down about 3,000 feet. So we did a series of sketchy rappels. At each one, I thought, "Oh my God, if we blow this, we could die. Oh my God, if we blow this, we could die. Oh my God, if we blow this, we could die." Well, we kept going until we ran out of light, and we had to bivvy or spend the night out unprepared. We spooned all night to keep our body warmth and hoped our significant others would forgive us, as it was for survival, of course. But we shivered all night, and we didn't sleep a wink and had to wait until sunrise in order to help the sun to help us get back to camp where we had food and water and shelter. We kept hiking down and arrived at the parking lot, and what did we find? My car windshield had been smashed in. A vandal had gone through, and my car had also found the wrath of this vandal. But unlike around town here, if I get a parking ticket and I completely freak out, we are just cool as cucumbers because we are so grateful to be alive. So I'd say Now I know what to do in the face of adversity. Just keep on figuring out what to do to keep going. Make sure you have good partners. Stay calm. And no matter what, don't give up. Thank you.